Ooh, that's bright. No, it's not. No, it's gonna be bright again. I'm anticipating. Who turned the lights on? Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we're gonna be heading out to the shop and maybe doing some cleaning. And I got some orders I'm shipping out and some new products that I wanna show you guys. And yeah, we're gonna maybe get a start on the Cavalier engine. And yeah, we'll just see where the day goes. But so far, I have went to the post office and the line was so far out the door that I probably had to wait an hour to ship my packages. So yeah, the post office is definitely backed up. They're super behind. I actually just got some products in for the website that were a 2-day priority ship and it took 16 days to get here. So I'll show you those things in a minute. Alrighty guys, so we are out at the shop now and I'm going to be showing you a new product that I'm going to be offering on huntertune.com. And very excited about it because I got a set of injectors for the black Mustang here. Just kind of rolling in parts for it slowly. I actually have the engine back from the machine shop now, so we should be able to put the engine together here in one of the next videos. I've just been waiting on the cam. You know, everything's just really slow with COVID right now with trying to get parts and everything like that. Especially, I mean, I was just at the post office for literally an hour in line because the line at the post office was so long. So that's just how it is, I guess, right now, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, I did get some new products for the website and I want to show you. I'm really excited to offer these because prior to this, I was trying to work with a company in China for injectors, and I got a set of like 1500s. I got a couple sets of 1500s to test out, some thousands, and there was not enough in the batch of injectors that were usable to actually be able to sell them and be able to make like profit at the price point I wanted to offer. So I'm still trying to find another set of injectors that I can offer for you guys that's like kind of a middle ground injector. But for the most part, the regular decap truck injectors that I've been selling and the decap flex fuel injectors that I've been selling have been a huge hit, honestly guys. I've been selling them for the last couple years now, and it's kind of my full-time job, which is crazy. It's crazy to even think that. But I figured since the decap stuff's doing so well, I want to try to focus more on my website and just kind of offer you guys more products that are genuine and work good and tested and is something I personally would use. So without further ado, I'm going to be showing you the new product that's on the website now, and they're genuine Bosch 210s or Bosch 2200cc injectors. So I did get them laid out here just to snap a couple pictures for you guys. And yeah, so I've been working with VS Racing for quite some time as well. I've been working with VS Racing pretty much ever since I started my website, and I've been selling turbos for Varen, and I've sold tons of turbos for him, and he's never let me down, honestly guys. Like every single turbo I've ever gotten from VS Racing has been nothing but awesome, especially for the price. Like they are the best turbo for the money, hands down. That's why I offer them to you guys. If I didn't believe in a product 100%, I wouldn't be offering it to you guys. So Varen actually has some homies over at Bosch, and these are 100% genuine injectors. A lot of times you'll find Bosch 2200s for, you know, a cheap price online or eBay or whatever, but they're not genuine, and it's tough to find, like, you know, an actual genuine seller, etc., etc. So I figured I'm gonna jump on board and I'm gonna try to offer a genuine working Bosch 2200, because a lot of the Chinese knockoffs, they don't work well. They lock up at high PSI. They don't spray worth a damn. They're uneven flow match, etc. So like I said, I just kind of splurged. I spent some money to get these because these are not exactly cheap injectors, but they do support big horsepower, and with more horsepower means you need more fuel, which means you need to spend a little bit more money sometimes, but these are still very reasonably priced for the amount of fuel injector you get for the money. So here's like the box that they come in. I thought this was funny. It was on the box. It's like some little office guy on the left, and it says, no, And then on the right hand side, it's got like a construction worker holding a wrench the size of his leg. And it says, yes, you need to use a mechanic for these. But anyways, they are Bosch only for CNG because they are a CNG based injector, but they do, you know, work with other fuels. There's tons of guys using Bosch 2200s with like ethanol, you know, pump gas, whatever you want. And like I said, I'm gonna be shooting for some really big horsepower on the black Mustang here, and I figured a set of Bosch 2200s and a Magna Fuel 750 fuel pump is what I'm gonna put in this car, and hoping to make at least 1,000 horsepower and go for gold with this car, guys. I wanna go fast, and it's gonna be a really cool, clean, fun build. But it is a little bit, it's probably the most expensive build that I'm doing to date. That's kind of why it's taking so long for me to save money in order to buy all the parts. But I am getting most of the parts for the car, and they should all be here. Like I said, whenever the cam gets here, I'll have everything. And then I'm gonna break everything down for you guys and show you every piece and part that I picked up. And I'm just really excited. I'm super stoked. And I'm working with a couple awesome places to build this car up. So these injectors, when you get them from Bosch or from VS Racing or from Hunter Tuned or whatever, not from me, but if you get them from VS Racing actually offers them not flow matched or flow matched. And I just took a random set of 4 injectors and I threw them in my flow bench here. And you guys can probably see on camera here that they are very close, but they're definitely not matched 100%. So you can see this injector right here is around 80 milliliter on the test, and then on this one it's closer to like 74. So I mean, and this one's close to 80 here, so these two match up really good, but this one is about the same as this one on the outside. So I'd probably pair these two together and these two together, and then grab another set of 4 to hopefully get the same. You know, that's kind of how I do my flow matching, is I'll do an idle test, you know, a mid-range test, and then a wide open test, and it does, like, you know, testing all in between there. With this is just like a cheap tester, but it's been working really well for me. And it's got, like, you know, medium, high speed, accelerating, shifting speed, leak checker, you know, and all the stuff. And these injectors are brand new, so they've never been used. But it's good to have, you know, something tested before you use it, because in my eyes, something that is new means it never ever worked, or never even worked. That's how I like to look at new stuff, because realistically, if it's brand new, it's never been used, it's never been tested, and I don't like selling stuff that's, you know, not been tested or not been, especially like an injector. Like I'd rather have peace of mind knowing that an injector works and is even and flow matched before I'd sell it. Like a turbo is a little bit different, because you can kind of spin it and, you know, feel it out and make sure that everything is good. I don't know, hopefully you guys know what I mean, but new means never even worked until you use it, and then you're like, okay, I know it works now. I don't know, it's just kind of something that I think about. But these injectors are literally a garden hose. Like, these injectors will flow like in a ridiculous amount of horsepower. So just a quick Google search. These injectors flow 240 pounds per hour at 58 psi, so technically they're good enough for around 2,350 flywheel horsepower on gasoline and 1,650 flywheel horsepower on E85. So if you convert that to wheel horsepower, I mean, they should be good for 1,200 horse on ethanol all day long. And I know guys run methanol through them, and, you know, everything like that. So I'm really excited to offer these guys, and I think I'm gonna have a competitive price, but it's also gonna be a price that's kind of, you know, what I have to sell them for what I pay for them. I don't make a ton of money on these. I just make enough to offset the cost of the flow matching that VS Racing offers. I figure I can buy them unmatched, flow them, and then make the money from flowing them, kind of thing, before I sell them. So I think VS Racing offers these in a set of 8 for like 650 bucks or so with the flow match. So if they're flow matched, they're like $650 or so, and I was thinking about offering them for, you know, right around that price. Hopefully I can for a little cheaper. If I can offer these for like 600 bucks for a set of 8, and then 350 bucks for a set of 4. You know, if you guys want to use these in your Honda, you know, a set of 4 would be like 350 bucks, and a set of 8 would be like 600 bucks ish. I don't know exactly on pricing yet, but I'll probably be making a post on Facebook and then posting them to my website right away, just to you know, see if they're gonna sell or see if anybody is interested in them. I'm really hoping they are, but I do have a set for my car now, and then I have a couple extra sets for, you know, you guys, if you guys want to purchase any or whatever the case is. So just an example, I'm going to turn one of these suckers on for you and just watch this thing garden hose. Like, the spray pattern on these injectors is awesome. It's super wide, super like controlled, where a lot of like the decap spray pattern is kind of like a steady stream shooting down. And then when they're like clogged up and stuff, they kind of run a little bit of sporadic pattern. But when they're clean and they work good, a lot of times decaps just kind of have a straight stream of fuel that goes in, and it works really well. A lot of people think that spray pattern, you know, doesn't run as well, etc., etc. But when you're talking with like 1,000 cc or less size injector, that kind of spray pattern still works very well, and it still idles very good. I mean, I can idle the flex fuel decaps at 14, 15, 5 air fuel ratio all day long, and it never stutters. They never even flinch. So they run well. But when you're talking literally double the size injector, it's twice the size orifice. So when you're trying to turn them way down to idle them, that spray pattern that has a wider, you know, just a wider spray definitely helps out with, you know, getting the car to idle well and cruise well. And all the Bosch 2200s that I've ever tuned run awesome. Like they literally run like factory. It's crazy. Like you can idle these things all day long and you can cruise them, especially on a turbo LS car. Like you can run these cars, or you can run these injectors in a street car and drive it around, and it's not going to be, you know, crazy, you know, stuttery, or it's not going to run like shit until you floor it kind of thing. I used to have a set of the old school Snake Eater 2200s, if you guys know, and I had one of them, like right when Snake Eater first kind of started out, I had a set of his like first generation 2200s, and they definitely didn't really run that good down low, like idling and cruising and stuff like that. I could never get the air fuel to straighten out, etc., etc. That's why, like, you know, spending the money on a really large injector sometimes is really worth it. And Snake Eater is also going to be offering a set of, like, he's also going to be selling these Bosch 2200s. So I mean, they're the best for the money and the size injector that you can get. Like, there's no real better option for this kind of flow. So I actually placed this stuff on a table here. This is actually just like a normal style decap truck injector. This is the Bosch 2200 in the middle, and then this is a decap flex fuel injector. And you guys can tell that the decap flex fuel injector is literally the same size O-ring to O-ring as the Bosch 2200s that I'm offering. The normal style truck injector is very close, but it's just about a mil or two. That's more, it's a couple mil shorter for the normal style. So if you have normal style truck injectors in your car currently and you go to these, you'll probably have to space the rail up, you know, about that far. You can see where the O-ring is higher here than it is here. That's probably where you'll have to space it to. And then the flex style, if you have flex styles currently, these will just plop right in. And I am offering them currently only in the EV1 connector. This is like factory OBD1 Honda connector right here. The EV6 comes on like the flex style injectors. So this is it's like a round square plug, or like circle. I don't know what fucking shape you call that. But that's the EV6. Sorry, the light kind of sucks right here. Yeah, I can't really pick it up. But anyways, that's EV6, and then the truck injector is Delphi, which is like a smaller rectangle. This is not a common plug at all. It's pretty much only used on like these normal style truck injectors. and it's called a Delphi plug. Like I said, EV1 is a good plug. I like to use EV1. I like to run EV1 or EV6 on pretty much every car that I run, but I'm getting a couple Holley Terminators for the black car and the Cavalier and another project that I have going on, and they're all EV1 style. So yeah, EV1 is a good plug. That's what I like to use. Otherwise EV6 is the other option that I usually run. So I'm gonna get a couple sets of these flowed up right away. I just actually left the post office selling a ton of other decaps and stuff because I actually had a Black Friday sale for decapped injectors, and I sold out like fucking 2 days. So I had a ton of them. I think I had nearly like 80 some injectors here, and they sold out in 2 days on the Black Friday sale. So thank you very much for that, guys. I didn't really mention it on YouTube that I was doing a sale because I didn't want to, like, you know, I didn't want to like not have the stock and then be telling you guys, oh, it's going to be a month before you get injectors. Like, I hate doing that. So I'd rather just, you know, take on small bits of business that I know I can handle because, you know, I'm by myself here, versus like trying to explode and try to get as much business as I possibly can and then not have the stock to fill it. I just feel like I just don't like that, and I feel like a lot of companies are running into that this year, where they are trying to advertise and advertise and advertise, and people are buying like crazy, and a lot of these companies just can't keep up with the stock and they can't keep up with the demand. So I'm not trying to get behind that. I mean, obviously the more you can sell, the more money you make, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the product to sell, it's hard to make money, if you know what I mean. So I still have a ton of normal style decaps, and I always have normal style decapped injectors in stock, but the flex ones are a lot harder for me to get, and they're just they're tougher for me to find. I can find normal styles all day long, but flex styles, they're tricky to find sometimes. So I'm going to have to, you know, I'm still trying to find better sources to keep those injectors in stock all the time, but it's tough. It's really tough. So I know I can stock these all the time, keep them here, and still be able to offer an injector that I can stock and everything like that. So anyways, yeah, that's it. I'm rambling. So I'm gonna try to get this little Honda Civic tuned up right now, and probably film this maybe on a separate video, and we'll go from there. So rest of this video might take you home, show you some more garage updates, and show you all the work that I've been doing over the last couple days. We got a ton of work done on the garage, and I'm gonna show you that right now. Alrighty guys, so I'm back at home now, and I wanted to show you some progress that I've done on my home garage. And because some of you guys are really interested in this stuff, and I have been putting a lot of work into it, so I feel like I'd like to share it with you guys and just kind of show you all the stuff that we've done. So if you take a look around, you can see there is insulation all in the walls here, and I installed all that myself. So that's really easy to do, honestly. Like, I did all the insulation. We just bought, you know, insulation rolls from the store. I cut them to length and then just kind of stuffed them in the walls here, and then stapled them to the 2x4s on the walls. So we did all that, got the insulation kind of all stuffed around, and yeah, the whole garage is now insulated. And if you notice, there is no more bench over here. There used to be like a little workbench in this area. I tore that down, and it's actually sitting right there now. I took it down just because I needed to, in order to insulate the walls and to put sheeting up. So there was another like shelf stand thing right here in the middle of the garage that I also took down, which was kind of an eyesore in my opinion. So I figured I'm just gonna take it down because I don't plan on using it, and if I do need more storage down the road, I plan on just building a shed behind the garage, because we do have a lot of yard and we're not really utilizing any of it. So I feel like a shed would be a good idea and a good use of space for our backyard. like I said, in case we need storage or anything like that. And you can obviously tell it's very well lit in here already. I have these little shop lights that I put up. I bought from Menards. They were $14 a piece. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So that's $60 worth of LED lighting that I have in the shop. And then I also bought this LED light right there, right there, right there. I bought that light from Walmart, and it's actually an LED shop light and Bluetooth speaker all in one. So that's super cool. I can hook my phone up to it literally right now and play music. So I don't even need a radio in here because my shop light is my radio. So that's really cool. And it gets just loud enough to where it's loud inside the garage, but it's not loud outside the garage. It's kind of crazy how much just putting the insulation in the walls and the ceiling, how much that did for just like the amount of sound that gets protruded through the walls. Because the other day, me and my buddies were in here and we had this little boom box of my buddies. That one right there. We were jamming out with that thing, and it was definitely like you could hear it inside my house, which a little too loud. So like I said, just putting the insulation in the walls really did help a ton with, you know, obviously holding heat and with you know, the sound that gets protruded through the walls. I don't want to piss off my neighbors. I've only been here a month, so like I said, I don't want to piss them off. But in other news, we got the bench and the shelf taken off the wall. I insulated. I got the heater working, so you guys may be able to hear it. It's warming up in here quite fast, actually. I let the heater run for about 5 minutes before I came in here because just to kind of get it warmed up in here. It's 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. It's chilly. And I've let the heater run for about 5 minutes now, and I feel like I take my sweatshirt off. It's that warm. So the insulation, awesome. The heater we got working. It's kind of temporary right now, but we do have it operating and functional. We had to obviously put an outlet on it, so we put an outlet on it so I could plug it in. And then we got a thermostat. So this is the thermostat that I'm running. It's just a cheap, like honestly the cheapest one I could find at Lowe's. It's a Honeywell thermostat. I have to mount it on the wall yet because I have noticed if it's not mounted to the wall, it is like if I shake it, you hear the heater kick there. I think it's because like the thermostat, it needs to be mounted like upright for it to work properly, because there's like, I don't know if there's like little springs and shit in here or what's going on, but it definitely needs to be mounted for it to work properly, because I've noticed the heater will like kick on and off once in a while, and it's all because of this. But we got it all working. I got my gas line plumbed from my 100-pound propane tank. I had to get a regulator for the propane tank because the tank pressure from the propane tank to the heater was about 90 psi, which is way too high. I pretty much had to get a gas grill regulator, which pretty much takes tank pressure of around 90 or 100 psi, and it steps it down to like a half a psi, really low pressure, just enough to feed into the heater for it to work. So I got that working. We got the vent plumbed. We ended up just going out the wall, and then we have a 90 outside the building, which goes up, and this is a double wall pipe right here. So the heater's been running for like 15 minutes, and I can hold this thing, I can touch it. It's not like super hot. If we touch this one's like scalding hot, but it has this like little plate and stuff that we put in, so like it doesn't, you know, get anything around the pipe hot. It kind of all transfers through this metal, which this metal is like cold, so the pipe gets hot, but it can't transfer the heat through all this, and then, you know, to prevent a fire hazard. So I did just insulate, you know, a little bit around it, but not a whole ton, just because I don't want the insulation to cause any issues. The gas line, the heater's working, thermostat, and then we also, like I said, we got all the outlets installed in one of the last videos I maybe told you about. And then we have spent the last couple days hanging drywall. Hanging drywall is not fun. by any means, and I have zero clue of what I'm doing. But the drywall here, we just kind of tried. Me and my buddy were just kind of like playing around. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just kind of threw them up, screwed them into the wall, and, you know, did that. But I have learned a ton since putting up these first few pieces that we did. We put these first few pieces up, and, you know, obviously there's like some gaps, and I didn't really measure properly. And the problem with this garage is the trusses are not like exact. So like a couple trusses are all 24 inches apart, and then there's a couple trusses that are like 27 inches, 26 inches, 20 inches. So an 8-foot piece of drywall doesn't really fit on the trusses how it should. So because they extended this garage to 26 feet long, so they used 24-foot long garage amount of trusses, but then took you know, extended it 2 feet, so they kind of skimped out, and they, you know, spaced some trusses out and extended others where they needed to be, etc., etc. So put the first few pieces of drywall up. I didn't really know anything about it. We just kind of chucked it up, and then my buddy came over, and he knows what he's doing, and he's like, holy fuck, you really messed up here. So we did not, you know, we butted all the seams together, which is a bad idea. You don't want to do that. Like, this drywall piece matches up with the drywall piece under it, and then like all the seams match, which I guess is like a no-go, just because if the drywall tends to move around, it doesn't have another piece of drywall to like hold the seam straight. So we did that on the ceiling as well, you know, all along here, and didn't really know what we were doing because the trusses didn't line up and all that kind of stuff. And then we laid another section of drywall, and it just turned out like crap. So we're like, what the hell's going on? So then we figured it all out, figured out that the trusses weren't really spaced accordingly, and then actually drew a chalk line to center the drywall so we had a good edge to work off of, which you can see here. We made a cut on this section of drywall, and yeah, then from there on forward we kind of knew what we were doing. So you can tell like this stuff looks a ton better. The gaps are all closer together, everything like that. But yeah, this whole section of the garage was kind of a learning experience, and the rest of it going this way was like, okay, we kind of figured out what we were doing. So we did all that. Ton of work. Like, it sucks, honestly, but we got it figured out, and I'm hoping to finish this up hopefully this week. We'll have it all drywalled and just be able to enjoy it, be able to enjoy the space that we have, and yeah, go from there. But it was definitely just a chore to do a lot of the stuff. Like, we had to take the garage door opener down to hang the drywall above it. We had to insulate. We insulated the ceiling too with this thicker stuff here. This is the thicker insulation that we used on the ceiling. So we had to, before all the drywall was up on the ceiling, we had all that down, and we stuffed it. We pretty much did what we did on the walls, where you staple it to the studs. We did that on the ceiling too, so we stapled all the insulation up into the ceiling and then laid the drywall underneath it. So yeah, we did all that, and it holds heat like a fucking mofo. It is so nice in here, honestly, guys. Like, the heater, now that the ceiling is done, the heater kicks on like once every 30 minutes or so. And it took probably about 10 minutes to heat it from, well, it's outside, it's about 10 degrees outside. It was probably about 30 in here. And I just heated it up to 65, and it took about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. So the heater kicks ass. The insulation's doing awesome. We're gonna hopefully get the rest of the drywall done this week. And yeah, I'll probably do another update video on the garage, kind of like a more in-depth, you know, video of it. But that's what I've been doing, and yeah, just a little bit hectic lately. I got a lot of stuff going on. I say that, and I feel like a little wimp, but I just feel like I do have a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's hard for me to like even wrap my head around a lot of it, because it's just overwhelming, a lot of the stuff that I have going on for some stupid freaking reason. But it's all coming together, and I'm very blessed, very happy. I'm just hoping I can slow down a little bit to enjoy it all. Yeah. been hectic. What a year. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for another one tomorrow probably of us dyno tuning blue Honda Civic. So we'll leave off here. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. We'll see you later.